guys, let's get this series started. All right, 5 love languages. So, we're going to start out with quality time. Disclaimer: if this is your love language, you are not supposed to use this or abuse this with your partner. I repeat, you are not supposed to use this or abuse this with your partner. All right, quality time. What is your definition of it? Think about it. Quality time means undivided attention. Undivided means that you are not splitting your time or your attention with something else, i.e., electronics, social media, watching TV, looking at other things, not paying attention. That is not undivided attention. Okay? What's your perception of quality time when you spend it with your partner? A lot of times we don't understand that our perception can differ because of our biased mind. So if you already feel like you guys are on a rocky or you're beefing, your perception can be distorted because of that. Now, based off of that, let's say there's nothing. What is your perception of your quality time with your partner? So clearly, quality time is about quality time. Time is one of the most valuable assets that we have. So making the most of it is important. Now, to make the most of it takes extreme self discipline, effort, and sacrifice. Those three go with quality time. Do you understand? You cannot miss one without one of those things. Something is being sacrificed, there is effort put into that, and there is self discipline to make sure that you remind yourself to do that. If you are not self aware of that, you can miss it and think that you're spending quality time when you're really not. For example, there's 1,440 minutes in a day, right? And if you work 8 hours, you work about 480 minutes a day. And if you go to sleep for 8 hours, which most of us don't, you sleep for 480 hours. 80 minutes, okay? But a lot of times, quality time is like 20, 30, 60 minutes from your partner. And you're telling me out of the extra 480 minutes that you have, you can't sacrifice 20 to 60? What I hear from most people that their love language is quality time and they're not receiving it is that their partner does not give them quality time. And it makes me wonder, what does their partner think, right? So you go a little deeper and you say, well, you want to work so hard and you want to be out and doing all this stuff. What is your objective? What are you working towards? Most people say, I'm working towards being happy and providing for my family. The real question is, if you don't spend quality time with your family, do you want to enjoy that life alone? Because if you leave that person, you're going to suffer with the next person if you have that issue. Story time. My daughter slapped me in the face one day. We were out for breakfast, and this is my oldest, and we're having a conversation, and I'm like, your dad, he provides a nice house for us and blah blah blah. And she was like, I said, he takes care of the house. And she said, yeah, he takes care of the house, but he doesn't take care of the people inside. I was like, whoa, mind blown. In that moment, my 12-year-old spoke volumes about what her love language was: quality time. And it didn't dawn on us until later, after looking into it, like, wow, her statement was true, and we have to acknowledge that. Now, if you are not the person that love language is quality time, but you're the person that's having to give this, I can see where this can be difficult. But remember, you are trying to learn how to be bilingual, right? So, if this is your lover's primary love language and you are not feeling it, their love tank is going to be empty or not really full. And your relationship is going to not reap any benefits from that. And really, honestly, you're telling your partner, hey, your gas prices are too high and I'm not going to be getting any gas right now. And it's really like, really? Is that what the sacrifice is? And you have to understand on the other end how that person is feeling. Like, am I not enough for you to sacrifice and have self-discipline and have effort and put real effort into spending quality time with me? Am I not worth it? And a person will think that, because it's really important that if your person's primary love language is quality time, that you do that. Now, here are the ways that you do that in the ways that fit them specifically. Focused attention. What does it mean to focus? Right? But if we're doing this while I'm supposed to be looking at this and I'm all over here, I'm not focused. We live in a time where distractions are like haters. They're everywhere. Just imagine how many car accidents would be prevented if we weren't distracted drivers, right? Then on top of that, we have the government that makes laws to try to prevent that. But we don't have laws that prevent that in our own relationships to make sure that we're not getting on each other's nerves or not being able to work things out, right? Can you imagine if there was a law that said every day for 60 minutes, you and your partner have to sit in a room, all things off, and you guys have to talk, dialogue, and all kinds of stuff and spend time or do something together? How many couples would be actually solid? Probably a lot. Close proximity. Know the difference. Me and this little glass thing, we're in close proximity. But that does not mean that we're spending quality time together. I'm videotaping and it's doing this, right? Just because you live together, sleep together, eat together, maybe even watch a show together, on the little love seat together, does not mean that that's quality time, and especially the quality time in the right dialect for your person. It's literally called sharing a space at the same time. While you're in this space, your attention is divided. Here, 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 here. It's not undivided. So that's not the same as quality time. If I'm texting and you're talking, yeah, I might be listening, but my attention's not undivided. It's divided between my phone and you. So if quality time is your primary love language, this could be a problem because you are seeking my undivided attention. If I'm scrolling through IG, watching Power while we both sit on the couch, I'm definitely not giving you my undivided attention. My attention is divided and none of it is on you. None. And quality time does not mean having a staring contest. It means doing something together where we are giving our full attention on each other. That is focused time. Now, for my people that are like, well, I don't like what she likes to do, or I don't like what he likes to do. It's not about the activity. It's about the emotion that is created and the memories that are created during the activity. Lay your guard down a little bit and do something out of the norm that you don't like to do because it's for the other person. And that's really what love is. Love is doing something that's not natural to you, right? Like, you naturally love yourself, so you do things for yourself. But when you love somebody, you do and you go out of your way for them. That is love. There have been many times where I have done stuff that I don't necessarily like, oh yeah, I really want to do that. But then it's like the person that I am and the person that I'm with, we create a memory and an emotion that hopefully that is happy emotion and it's a fulfilling emotion that we get to remember that. And so then it's no longer about the activity because the objective is for us to spend time together. Our common goal should be to communicate to each other that we care about each other and we love each other. And that's what's important to us. Spending quality time with that person when it's in their love language communicates that to that person. So though you might not understand if this is not your primary or secondary love language, to them, you have communicated to them, yo, I love you. You mean something to me. You're important. Quality convo. Dialect Central Headquarters, how can I help you?
Yeah, I'd like to know how quality convo is maintained and created. Yeah.
We are glad you asked. Dr. Chapman states that quality convo is sympathetic dialogue. Let's break that down. Sharing feelings, thoughts, and desires is sympathetic. When doing this, you want to do it in a friendly and uninterrupted zone. They say that such dialogue for a person that's quality time is their primary love, is crucial to their emotional needs and love tank. I'd like to think that this is where people can come in and interfere with your relationship. So, if you are worried about that and your person's thing is quality time, let's spruce up on it and let's start fixing it so we don't have that issue. Dr. Chapman states that knowing the difference between words of affirmation and quality time are different. Words of affirmation are all about the things that somebody is saying. Quality time and quality convo is about what you're hearing. If you follow these steps and the steps in the love language book, it is said that this is very beneficial to your relationship, and with a little bit of fine tuning can be really, really, really fruitful. When your partner is talking, it is important to listen sympathetically and ask questions in a non-badgering way. Now, on the flip side, for the partner that the quality time is my primary love language, you can't automatically think when somebody's asking you questions that they are trying to badger you or interrogate you. They are trying to get to know your emotions and your feelings and where you're coming from. It is okay to explain or to relate something to them so they can better yet understand. If this does not happen, you tend to get on this train of assumptions, and then that assumption takes you everywhere that you don't want to go. Stay off the assumption train. This is very important. Defining sympathy versus empathy. Sympathy is showing compassion about your feelings and your desires and so on. Empathy is putting yourself in their shoes. There is a difference. When you see these words, people tend to mix them up. This is why it's important to look stuff up or just to ask questions, because this is something where you could be like, I want you to empathize with me. And he's like, I'm trying to feel sorry for you. And it's like, no, I want you to put yourself in my shoes. I want you to understand how I'm feeling right now. And then that is when you can say, compare it to something like the stub toe example I gave in the last video. If we both stubbed our toe and I say, well, it's like when I stubbed my toe, you should automatically understand. Quality time primary love language holders. It is your responsibility to tell your partner when you just need a sounding board. And a sounding board is when you just want them to listen. You don't want any feedback. You just want somebody to say, I got it. Wow, dang, that's crazy. Because we are naturally thinkers and speakers. We don't listen well. So if we are not told this, sometimes it can cause an issue. For example, your mate might come to you and be telling you about an issue and you immediately want to give some advice. I've struggled with this. I like to fix things. Working on it. But with that being said, give them the opportunity to tell you and request your advice. Giving advice is based on understanding and really under empathy. If you cannot place yourself in that person's shoes, you shouldn't be giving them advice. I say that because a lot of times we give base of advice if we were placed in that situation when we don't really know how we would react and what we would do in that situation. We have a lot of people giving advice to people about when bad things happen in their relationship. Oh, leave him and da-da-da-da. And honestly, we're the same people that are staying in relationships and holding on to stuff that we have no business holding on to. And that's our business. But putting yourself in your partner's position and saying, hey, that would be crazy if that ever happened to me. Let me think about that. That's okay. And your partner, quality time holders, you should be okay with them saying that because you want a quality answer, not a rushed answer. Stop thinking everything goes in the microwave and accept process and enjoy process, because process things are way better than rush things. Now, if you are not listening and you are thinking about what you're about to say when as soon as they get done talking, you were never listening. You were partially listening and you heard bits and pieces. Sometimes we can miss big gems because we're not fully listening. We're all guilty of this. If you are a person that struggles from this or like getting your thoughts out, ask your partner, do you mind if I take notes? Do you mind if I write this down? Hey, do you give me a second to process this? Hey, can I get back to you tomorrow? As an adult, we should be okay with that. We really need to stop rushing things because we rush into stuff and then we are backtracking like a mug, and we look more dumb when we backtrack if we just said, you know what, I need some time. I don't want to do that. Interesting enough, we can compare this to food. A lot of us like fast food, but we'll talk about McDonald's. I don't eat McDonald's. But when we go to a restaurant, we like to wait for a good cooked steak, right? But if your food's not out in a long time, you're like, oh, why isn't it? And then the first moment that it's not cooked all the way, you want to complain. Well, you didn't want to wait for it, right? Same thing with our partners. Waiting for them to give a good answer to you and a quality answer or whatever you need is okay. Now, for the people that like to analyze and create a solution, we have to remind ourselves, our relationship is not a project, it's a relationship. It's not something that has a completion date. For my mute mellies in the back, let's talk. Learning to talk requires self-revelation. Now, a lot of us are not ready for that. But if you want an effective working relationship, you need to get ready. And honestly, at this point, with everything going on, you should have a lot to talk about. Now, a lot of people struggle from this because of the way they grew up, right? And we don't take that into account for our relationships. We don't think about how Ray grew up or how Elizabeth grew up. We just figured, oh, they should know how to talk because they're an adult. This is where you have to say, okay, do we need to work on things to get us to that point? Because in that point, if you are the quality time holder and you wanting to talk, you have to be patient. There are people that grew up that were not allowed to ask for things. There are people that grew up when they did ask for something because money was tight in their house, they would get yelled at, So there's a lot of things reasons why people don't really speak, especially if the way you react is something that triggers them. And if every time they say something you have a negative reaction, nobody's going to talk to you. Says to you or says to somebody else and you hear through the grapevine, man, he doesn't talk or she doesn't talk and we never really connect and stuff like that. They are requesting intimacy. Okay. Now, intimacy. Every time people hear the word intimacy, they think sex. Intimacy is not sex. Do you understand? It's something that creates it and it's something that sustains it and upholds it, but it's not sex. Intimacy leads to a better bond between two people. Even in other relationships, you can have intimate relationships with other people and not them be non-sexual and platonic. Okay, people on the other end that are learning this language. There is a difference between voicing your thoughts and voicing your feelings. You get into it with somebody at work. You come home and you're like, man, that's stupid that Ray was able to talk to me like that in front of everybody. You have expressed your thoughts. You have not expressed the way you felt. Man, I was really embarrassed and I felt disrespected when he did that. Those are your feelings. Now, on the flip side, you QT holders, voicing your feelings and voicing your thoughts when somebody says, what do you think, not how do you feel, those are different. Know the difference. I say that because in this, it's very tricky and it's a slippery slope. Because their feelings can make them biased and create perceptions and distort situations that are really not going on. So you have to be mindful about things that you're doing. If you're in a vulnerable moment, yes. But if we're just having a conversation and you are basing your thoughts off of your feelings because of something that I said or you didn't like how I responded, we're not creating a healthy talking situation. So let's be mindful of that and stay positive. So when life events happen, we'll get people that'll say, well, I'm different, he's different, and when we met, we were blah, blah. Well, in the book, Dr. Chapman talks about the Dead Sea, 2 different types of people, and Babbling Brook. He said the Dead Sea is like the Dead Sea. It's a reservoir. Everything goes in, nothing comes out, right? And he said those type of people you can ask, hey, how's it going, or what's going on, and they'll be like nothing, and they're totally fine, they're happy. Then you have Babbling Brook. Whatever she hears, whatever they hear, goes in, goes out, goes in, goes out. Nothing stays in. It all just goes out. And so he says that when these first two people meet, they are excellent for each other because Dead Sea is a perfect listener, and Babbling Brook keeps Dead Sea excited, like there's always something going on. But then what he said is 5 years down the road, Babbling Brook will be like, well, Dead Sea never talks to me. You have emotions, thoughts, desires, and then eventually actions that play into that, right? This is self-revelation. This is a must, and this is a road to follow from Dr. Chapman's words and view, that if you want to correctly love your person that has their primary is quality time, self-revelation is the way to go. So then he's like, Dead Sea's like, man, I know too much about Babbling Brook. I wish he'd just shut up. And what he said was, well, Dead Sea can learn how to talk, and Babbling Brook can learn how to listen. He said, we are all affected by our natural personalities, but we're not controlled by it. So there's room for growth and change. You just have to sacrifice and put the effort in. So the other dialect is quality activities. And these are activities that you and your partner can do together and enjoy. Now, they say the ingredients to these quality activities is number one, at least one you want to do it. Number two, the other one is willing to do it. And number three, you both know why you're doing it. You have to remember the objective of things. A lot of times we get in arguments, we get in fights, we get in disagreements because we forget the main objective is us being together and having a good time. If we put that at the forefront of our brain, like we do with sleep and eating and stuff, when we want to do those, we could make things more manageable and more productive. Doing these types of things and these activities create memories for your memory bank that you get to cherish further down the line. I can think of lots of things that I have done that I'm like, oh my God, that was so fun. I remember I just threw my dad a 60th birthday, surprise 60th birthday party. And I kept telling people, I can't wait for it's over. And they're like, oh, I know, because you got so much fun. No, just so I could have the memories of it. Sharing a good memory with people and the people that you love is way more important than always wondering what's going to happen or what you're going to do. You'll ask yourself, how do I make time for this? If I work, she works, we got these kids, you make time. Does it take careful planning? Yes. Does it take strategic planning? Yes. All of that needs to be done in order for you to be able to do this effectively. Nothing easy is worth it. So every day you make a conscious effort to do something, right? If you put the same amount of effort that you did into your partner's love language, could you imagine the possibilities of what the height of your relationship could be on? So a couple things to remember. Quality time is very important if that's your person's primary love language. Time is expensive. It costs. Make sure that you use it wisely, but also know that all the other things that you sacrifice that don't benefit your relationship, those are things that the other person is looking at and comparing themselves to. Don't make somebody that you love and care about deeply compare themselves to something that is so mediocre and minute to you. Quality time has to be the right quality time in the correct dialect that your partner is asking or wanting it to be received in. So if you're a couple that's always together and you're like, God, we always spend all the time, pause and make special arrangements and special plans for you guys to do specific things together. That makes it better and makes it more designated for that. Ask your partner for a list of places that they want to go or things that they want to do. Make a list. If money is an issue, space them out, they say. Put the more free things in between so you can save up money to do things. But this is all about effort and sacrifice. If your partner is one of them people that are like, I don't know, I don't know. You need to require them to be more concrete, specific, and detailed and descriptive about the things that they need from you. If they're unable to describe those things to you, you're unable to complete those things for them. So make sure that you remind them how important both of those components are. Cool thing is, during the day, if you guys work a lot, sending messages, text message, hey, how's your day going? What happened? Anything cool happened? Sending pictures of something maybe you've seen. Look at Betsy sitting at her desk. Haha, whatever. Doesn't matter. Something to start a conversation between the both of you that can be intriguing. Plan a weekend getaway, a staycation. I mean, it could be down the street. You're just not home. And bring things that you guys enjoy doing, like games or something that you guys both can enjoy and talk about, right? If you do plan a weekend, watch some Sex Tip Tuesday videos so you can throw a little shimmy shang in there. If you're somebody that's always on Facebook and always are watching the news or watching something, and the partner does not do the same, you limit yourself on things to talk about. Get into your partner's life and share things that have happened throughout your day so you guys can have more of an interest in each other than things that you don't even know about. Like, I can show my husband's stuff on Facebook that is funny, but as far as like other people, he doesn't know anybody, so he's like, I don't know that person, who cares? So one thing we do is we love to watch interviews together. So we'll watch interviews on the TV, and then we like to talk about them, and we like to look up things that we just randomly find interest in. Favorite thing to look up, I know so much things about space and the earth and sloths. You'd be amazed at how much stuff I know about sloths. But I entertain conversation with him so he can be known. If you are the spouse that's always on Facebook and your other one is always watching the news or something, neither one of you have anything to talk about in common. So try to find things throughout your day that you can enlighten them on or update them on so you guys have things to talk about. One thing that we do is we love to watch interviews on TV. So especially like The Breakfast Club. We will watch interviews and then we'll talk about it. We like looking up things on the internet and then coming back and information and sharing with each other so we can go share with the other people. We really do try to expand our brains and put new things in our brains so we actually have something to talk about. We might look up the same thing and talk about it to see what each other's perception is on that. So those are ideas that you can do that don't cost anything, but it does create good dialogue. And then remember that it's okay for you not to agree with your partner when you're discussing something. It's nice to see an opposing side because it gives you an open mind to the other side of things. Another idea might be twice a week, pick a meal that you're going to make together and make it a meal that you've never made before so you both can make it and discuss it and have fun and create the memory. That is quality time. Put your phones down and dive into each other, not other people that are not benefiting your relationship. Okay, so wrapping up. If this is your love language and your primary love language, it is important to explain to your partner what you need and what your expectations are for that. If you are the partner that is on the other side trying to learn this love language, it's okay to listen open ears and to do as much as you can in the realms of what's best for you. Quality time can be so fulfilling if you do it right and you have the right intention in it. I have to tell a quick story. So about a month ago, me and my husband had gotten into a little disagreement about quality time, and I was like, oh, we're not spending quality time together. And we're both two busy people. So he's like, yeah, you're just fussing. Fast forward, when I get back from Atlanta, I'm like, oh, aren't you glad we spend so much time together? And he's like, we don't. And I was like, what? Are you joking? And he was like, no, I'm not. And I'm like, haha, you're joking, right? And he was like, no, I'm not. And I was like, wow. And in that moment, I had a choice. I had a choice to say, well, I said that a month ago and you didn't care. But in that moment, I remembered it didn't matter. The objective is now we're both on the same page. And though it took him a little longer to get there, I'm okay with that because our objective is to spend time together. So now we both know where we both are in our feelings. And I'm pretty sure he was reminded, like, dang, she probably did say that to me because this happens all the time. But it's Purpose of telling that story is that you always don't have to bring up, well, remember last year you wasn't spending quality time and now you want to spend quality time with me. It does not matter. The point is that you're starting fresh, you're starting new, and you're working towards it now. For Valentine's Day, if quality time is all you're asking for and none of the other floof and fluff, all that stuff, speak that and explain that, because you are going to have a way better Valentine's Day and better relationship moving forward than you probably ever had. So, quality time it up. I will take a poll for the next one and we'll see which one I'll do next. I'm actually going to do them separately because they're really long and I really want to be descriptive when I talk about them, because I want people that did not read the book, which is a lot of people, that just took their love language, that don't really understand things. And so a lot of times people will be like, well, I thought gift receiving or something was mine and I scored low on that. That's because that's what doesn't fill your love tank. If quality time is your love language and your primary love language, when you get it, you are going to feel full. And then you will be able to, with no problem, to reciprocate your partner's quality time. Now, if you have a partner and you both are quality time and one of you guys is not happy, you are not giving quality time in the right dialect. Figure that dialect out. There are many different dialects and you might just need to test some things out. Okay? Have a good night.